Yo, we are here for Fire Ship, baby. And he got 10 open source tools that feel illegal. All right.
There are three types of computer people in this world: users, programmers, and hackers. The user just wants boring software to make boring spreadsheets to get boring stuff done at work. But in their naive
First, let me see what the comments are saying, because usually they'll let me know. Question. Finally, penetrate somebody. None of these are AI. Bubble is definitely popping. All right, looks like we got a banger. Looks like we got a banger.
naivety, users often get penetrated by hackers with high levels of riz, who employ social engineering to steal personal data, intimate photos, and crypto wallets. But then you've got programmers. They're the unsung heroes who make all the software in the world work, but they too get penetrated by hackers. If a programmer leaves the back door open to their mainframe, it could lead to catastrophic consequences that cost them their job and their employer billions of dollars. The lesson to be learned here is that you want to be the one doing the penetrating, not some stranger in a foreign country who doesn't even care about your feelings. In today's video, you'll learn the fundamentals of ethical hacking and pen testing by looking at 10 free and open source tools that you can use right now, all of which are available by default on Kali Linux.
All right, so I use Ghidra. I know that's Ghidra. You know what? I'm not gonna fucking say it. You get what I mean? Yeah, I'm not even gonna fucking say. I don't know how legal or illegal that shit is, but you know how it is with hacking, bruh. Tread lightly in this bitch. Like you feel me? Ghidra is a free tool, CIA approved. That's all I
A
can say.
distro optimized for ethical hacking. By the end of this video, you'll be a legit wannabe hacker who can take down entire nations, but if you like to do bad things, you need to turn this video off right now. The tools in this video, if used non-consensually, it could break many international laws that land you in prison, so never do penetration testing on a website or network without permission. But now that all the bad guys have clicked off this video, let's learn how to use
Bad guys, don't click off this video. I'm gonna tell you why. In my opinion, penetration testing is one of them fields where you gotta find someone who's gonna let you break into their shit. There's not a lot of people that's gonna let you willingly break into their shit. So, you gotta get into the industry somehow. You know who motivated us? The guy who made Silk Road. He got pardoned. He sat down. Now, if you want to click off the video now, all right, cool. But you going to jail, bro. At least if you know that, you can sit down for the ride and enjoy the fact that one day you may get caught. But I'm not gonna steer y'all in the wrong way. Like, y'all should not want to go to jail. But if you want to be a penetration tester, there's not really avenues for pen testing. So, like, if you want to be the very best that no one ever was,
some of the most
that's all I can
powerful and
say.
dangerous hacking tools. To follow along, I would highly recommend installing Kali Linux, and the desktop version is awesome. Although Microsofties can install it via WSL, or if you don't want to use Kali, you can just install each one of these hacking tools individually. But the best way to get started is to spin up your own virtual private server on Hostinger, the sponsor of today's video. Their platform gives you the power and flexibility to run anything you want without locking you into a complicated and expensive cloud platform. And now our hacking journey begins. The first tool you need to know about is Nmap. It's like the peeping Tom in your neighborhood who looks through all the windows in your house without actually breaking in. On a network, like the one you're connected to right now to watch this video, there's likely multiple hosts connected to it, like your computer, your PlayStation, and your smart lock, and the purpose of Nmap is to map out a network. It does this by sending packets over an IP range, then analyzes their responses to figure out which ports are open, which operating systems they use, to help you find backdoors to exploit. Like if Grandpa misconfigured something on his network, you can hack his printer to send him a message. To use it, simply use the nmap command, followed by an IP address you have access to, like your local network, or even a URL that you have permission to penetrate. If we do that on a web,
I'm going to talk with hypotheticals because I feel like if I give my opinion, I'm giving answers away. Hypothetically speaking, right? If like you're a network engineer or some shit like that, working in a very big factory or some shit, and you don't know exactly how much people are gonna connect to your network. So let's say fucking you make 180 IP addresses available, but there's only 60 people here, right? Right, like I said, it's a hypothetical. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Does that mean that there's all those back doors? Hold on, like what, 120? Wait, I said 160, and there's 60 IP addresses or IP being in use. So that means there's 100 backdoors available because you have 100 available just in case more people come. Isn't that bad practice? Like I know it's always good to like stay ahead, but what if there's a motherfucker, that part might give it away. But what if there's someone who's just good at accessing networks and stuff? That means that there's a port that they could, you know what I mean? That they could, yeah, like yeah, that was my hypothetical.
Website, you'll notice we get the IP address back, and it found that ports 80 and 443 were open. That's pretty cool, but we can also do a more aggressive scan with the A option. This will not only scan the network, but also try to detect the operating systems, and we'll use something called tracer route to track the path of the packets across the entire network, which can help detect misconfigurations that we can exploit. If
So for those who don't know, Tracer just traces how much and where does it go before it hits to the network. So like you can do a tracer route on your IP address or the Google and see where how many uh how many places it goes before connecting to where you need it to go. You get what I mean? So if you're in fucking home and you're going on Google and you just hypothetically live in New York, it'll probably transfer through a lot of different, you know what I mean? Like, and you just go on Tracer, type in the IP, and then it'll show you how much.
you're interested in packets,
I
though,
don't wanna,
another
I
tool you'll
don't
need
wanna
to
show
know
you
about
guys,
is
bro.
Wireshark. It's like that guy at a party who tries to eavesdrop on every conversation. It allows you to inspect what's happening on the network at a microscopic level. You'll want to use the GUI on this one because it collects tons of data from hundreds of different protocols, which are all captured in real time and can be analyzed offline. For example, if you record the traffic on your network right now and notice all this weird traffic going to an IP address in North Korea, you can inspect the actual payload and might find out that they have access to those photos that were intended for only you and your future ex-wife to see. And now you might be radicalized and ready to fight back. Metasploit is perhaps the most powerful hacking framework out there. It's like a Swiss Army knife with an AK-47 attached to it that allows even the most unskilled script kiddie to launch an attack. For example, we might be able to gain access to a Windows machine with a reverse shell, thanks to the Eternal Blue vulnerability. Open up the Metasploit console and search for Eternal Blue. That should bring up a list of potential Windows targets. We know that Grandpa's still on Windows 7, so let's go ahead and use that exploit. From there, we can set a payload to use a reverse shell and configure the local host to our own IP address. And then finally, run the exploit command. Congratulations, you just made a successful penetration. You can now access all the files on this computer, change the desktop background, and install even more malware. But Metasploit is almost too powerful, and if you use it, you'll miss out on a lot of cybersecurity learning opportunities. The next tool you need to know about is AirCrack. Like the name implies, it's for hacking those magical invisible packets floating around in the air called Wi-Fi. When you're at Starbucks enjoying a soy latte coding a Node.js app, there could be a guy behind the dumpster using AirCrack who just ran the airmon command followed by airdump to find your network as the perfect target. He then proceeded to run AirCrack to crack the Wi-Fi protected access key and can now pull all the packets out of thin air floating on this network. If you're connected to a regular unencrypted HTTP website, your sensitive data could be intercepted. That's why you always want to make sure to use HTTPS when submitting forms with personal data, because even if a hacker intercepts those packets, they'll be encrypted. Luckily though, the cops just arrested this guy because using AirCrack on a network without permission is highly illegal. But now it's time.
You see why I don't say that? That's why I just shut the fuck up after this. Like, you feel me? Because
To
unfair.
talk about passwords. Normies who watch Hollywood movies think that hackers get access to the mainframe by running some program that cracks their password.
I could launch a cyber nuke, but it'll completely fry his system.
And believe it or not, Hollywood movies about hacking are 100% accurate. Kali Linux has multiple password cracking tools like John the Ripper and Hydra, but the easiest tool to learn in my opinion is Hashcat. First though, it's crucial to understand that nobody in their right mind stores a plain text password in a database. Instead, passwords get hashed with a one-way algorithm like SHA or bcrypt, then salt them with another random string to make them even more difficult to crack. Now, even if somebody steals the database, it's still almost impossible to reverse engineer the hash back to the original password. The key word here though is almost. Let's imagine I found this hash for the president's login credentials to access the Nuclear Armageddon launch button website. Hashcat allows us to run a variety of different strategies to figure out the original text value of this hash. Like we could try to brute force every possible string combination, but a more common common technique is to use a file like rocku.txt, which contains over 14 million common passwords. Once we have that, we can then use hashcat and specify a hashing algorithm, which in this example is MD5 because it can be cracked in just a few seconds, but in real life with a hashing algorithm like bcrypt, it might take multiple days to go through the Rocky file. In any case, it looks like President Camacho used a weak password and forgot to enable 2FA, which means it's finally time to kick off Armageddon. But you might be wondering how I even found this top secret website. Escapefish is a tool for finding vulnerabilities on websites. It will recursively crawl an entire website, and in the process scan for vulnerabilities like cross-site scripting, SQL injection, and other web application screw-ups. It provides this nice HTML report, and what's awesome about it is that if you've already hacked a username and password, you can provide those credentials to also crawl the deep web.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Because of the way the video is going, I don't even think I'm gonna finish it for the video. I'm gonna watch these last 3 minutes myself because I genuinely got questions. You know what I mean? And the questions that I got might demonetize the video. It might be criminal if someone gets caught and say that I was the one to fucking lead them down that path. Too much, just too much stuff that I'm just being very cautious about. Yeah, I got a couple answers out of me early on, but as the tools got better and the encrypting and shit like that, my brain churning. You get what I mean? Like I don't wanna do anything actually. I don't wanna do anything just for educational purposes only. On that note, Fireship, you have dropped a banger, just like the comment said. Let's get back to that. The education is chef's kiss, bro. Anyways, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Go tell Fireship I sent you. Please don't try any of this at home and say that was me. If you try it, that's your ass. You get what I mean? That is your ass. Don't bring me down with you. I'm not the dude that's gonna be like, oh, I didn't. I'm a snitch. You feel me? I'm gonna help them out, get some knowledge out of it. Like, nah, I ain't. I ain't about to go down with you, bro, for a fucking video, bro. All I was trying to do was learn, provide some knowledge. If you want to be a crook, go be the best. I said that early on. Go be the very best. Don't bring me down with you, bro. Dead ass. I'm gonna holla at ya.